guys, it's Monday, October the 5th. I'm about to go to the printers and pack up all my orders for my recent store opening. I thought it'd be interesting to maybe film myself over the next 2 days before I fly back to Spain and sort of vlog the whole process, and it might give me a chance to talk about some of the artwork as I'm packing it or whatever. I doubt I'm going to have much time to talk as I'm filming, so what I'll do is I'll film what I can over the 5.5 hours I've got today to do everything, and then I'll do a voiceover when I edit it all together or something like that. Not too sure if this will even work, but I thought I'd film some stuff and cobble it all together. Maybe there'll be a video at the end of it, we'll see. Massive thank you to everyone who's ordered prints over the last week. I'm going to be opening the store again in the middle of this month at some point, and then I'll probably open again for Christmas time as well. But anyway, hopefully this video will give me a chance to explain some of my artwork, all the ideas behind it, and hopefully you'll get a bit more of an understanding about why and how and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, enough rambling. I better get going, and I'll speak to you guys shortly. I need my bag, baby. I need my bag, please. I need my bag. I'm sorry. First things first, coffee. I have to start the day with a coffee. So here's the print machine, spewing out my prints, ready to be cut down and signed. It's very surprising how long the signing process takes. I usually think, oh, I'll get that wrapped up in half an hour, but obviously the longer it takes, the better in a sense, because it means you've sold more prints. But it's always surprising how long it takes. You know, I go there ready to pack everything up, and I'll usually spend a couple of hours signing everything. So I use a white pen mostly, as I find it's nice and subtle, and I'll do my signature in an area on a print where I feel is most aesthetic. And then once they're all done, I'll lay them out, let them dry, move on to the next batch, and then they're all ready to be packed up. This is my Soma print, which was one of the big sellers in my recent store opening. I was a little reluctant to colour this one because I was very fond of how the black and white pencil and ink artwork looked. So when I came to colouring this one, but I wanted it to almost be a sequel image to my Ashura piece. So I wanted to have colours that kind of complemented that design, so the two could almost be a set maybe. I decided to keep the tones quite autumny, and the butterflies originally when I started colouring them were very bold and bright, so I toned them all down and went for quite a monochromatic look, and I think it came out looking quite nice actually. I like the little splashes of colours across the eyes, gives it an almost tribal essence to things. Here's some of the other prints. So it's quite a mixture, from movie related stuff to my personal visions. There's my T-800 from Terminator. That's one of my first horror commissions, which was based on the movie Dog Soldiers, which was for Fright Rags. That's my Masquerade piece, another personal vision of mine. My Shrine piece. Very occult, quite dark. I do quite a lot of sinister looking artwork, but it doesn't mean I'm that way inclined in the sense I'm not an occultist or anything like that. I just love that sort of imagery. And on the flip side, I also love, the beautiful biblical imagery as well. I just think anything from that sort of realm is very inspiring. That there was my take on the Three Kings, for example. Again, very dark and sinister, but
Personally, I find that sort of aspect of things interesting. I like images to tell a story and for people to look at things and get a sense of the characters and come up with their own interpretations of things. A lot more horror stuff here. Regan from The Exorcist. Those eyes. There's a few more at the top there. It's always quite strange to see the artwork printed. As an artist, you lose track of what pieces you actually do. And in my head, when I'm picturing my portfolio, I picture like 50 different things, but in reality there's hundreds. And it's quite hard to picture the amount of hours or even comprehend how much time goes into all this stuff. When you see it on a table laid out like that, it kind of hits you for six a little bit about how much time you must spend doing these things. But it's like the norm to me now. Every day I make art in some way, shape or form. And I can't imagine doing things any differently, really. This is my masquerade piece, another closer look. A lot of people have had this one tattooed, which is very flattering. I've probably seen about a dozen or more tattoos of this, usually on people's thighs, usually female. It seems to work quite nicely. This is my mermaid piece. I'd like to do another mermaid image, something a bit more dark. This was for a clothing company called Iron Fist. I'm not too sure what they did with it. I did it a few years back now. So the colours were semi-minimal in that, hence there's almost cartoon-like colouring on it. My Fido print. Here's my Plague Doctor print. This was a fun one to do, and it had been sitting in my sketchbook for a while, and about a year or two, and I decided to work it, finish it off. It was a bit of a strange one. This was actually probably my second most popular print of all, and I was quite surprised by that. It was one of those images that I did, and I didn't think it would go down that well or be that popular. I thought it was maybe a little bit too strange. And I've heard some great interpretations from people about what they think the image is about. And I quite like the character. He's sinister, yet he's got a charming romance to him. And the little splash of colour on the robin's breast I thought was a nice little touch, just to bring a bit of life into it. I've time-lapsed some of this so you don't get too bored of watching me do the same thing over and over again. I'm getting bored myself watching this as I do the voiceover. Hopefully it'll be a bit more interesting to you. This is my Plague Bearer piece. Another weird, twisted vision from out of my head. Really like how this one came out. My prints have a nice, soft satin finish to them, and it makes them very vibrant. I'm very happy with all of them. I mean, with prints, sometimes you have a bit of trial and error. So I've worked with a number of printers, and it's always quite difficult finding the perfect balance of what you see on your screen when you send off the files and what you actually have in hand when it's printed. Luckily here, with these printers I use now, they are fantastic, and things come out exactly as I want them to. My Hellraiser print I'm signing here. This is Darkness from the movie Legend. Amazing looking character. I remember seeing him when I was a kid and drawing him loads, so it's really nice as an artist to get paid or commissioned to do these sort of pieces. It's like a dream come true in a sense, and I have to pinch myself at times. This is one of my little quirky pieces. This is a bit more cartoony. It was a minimal colour t-shirt designed by Humans. My KO Toba Demon. This was new ground for me because I was experimenting a lot with negative space, and I wanted to focus more on just the characters and not be consumed by drawing in background details and essentially swallowing up the main character in the middle. So that was a nice balance, I thought, of a strong image and very, very minimal background work, just a pentagram he stood upon. Here's the T-800 from Terminator, one of my favourite movie villains of all time. I think the endoskeleton is the epitome of perfect design. It's such a beautiful looking character. And James Cameron and Stan Winston working together, it's just the perfect combination of two genius minds. This is my Apples piece, which is a bit of an interesting image. You've got like the sinister goats and the cute innocent girl, and I like hearing some of the interpretations of that image. It also got me a lot of flack from some very, very crazy sounding religious nutcases calling me Illuminati and a Satanist and this, that and the other, when all she had was a goat on her head and the stars are just stars, you know. Sure, it's got occult-ish undertones, but I'm not trying to corrupt minds with my artwork at all. I just like occult imagery, just as I like beautiful sunsets and beautiful monuments. It's just, you know, something that triggers my imagination, and I think occult imagery can be really, really beautiful, just as biblical imagery can be as well. This is my Asherah piece. I find, in terms of prints, it's the female-related imagery that is most popular, and which is a good thing because that's something I love to draw. Women are beautiful, and I love the ways you can, draw them and add elements in to create like a strong-looking character. This is one of my limited edition prints. There's only 100 of these available, and so far 81 have been sold, so there's 19 left. Oh, in reality, I'm probably going to keep a few back, so there's probably about 15 left. You'll have to act fast if you want to snag one of these. On the scroll is Pulvis et omnia summis, which is We of Dust and Shadow. I thought it was quite deep sounding. It suited the image. Here's one of two of my Freddy pieces. Very gross. This was commissioned by Electric Zombie a few years back now. And here's the second one. I've always liked the character Freddy, but I've been disappointed with the films, in all honesty. When I was a kid and I barely saw anything apart from pictures of Freddy on video cases and hearing what my classmates would say about him, I was far more scared about the character I'd created in my head of him. The concept is genius, a killer that will get you in your sleep when you're a kid and you watch a horror film and you go to bed terrified. The concept of that's fantastic, I think. Like, Wes Craven was a genius there. But I always felt the films weren't scary, and Freddy was almost like a parody of himself, and it just killed the fear factor in it for me. Here's Venom, another one of my limited edition prints. Venom's by far my favourite Marvel character, followed closely by Carnage. And my Horned Goddess piece. I do love drawing this sort of stuff. A lot of people commented on the Facebook post saying True Detective and stuff like that. I've never seen True Detective, so I'll have to check it out. So I'm assuming there's something involving a deer skull or something along those lines. Okay, now everything's been signed, so we're on to print packing now. Previous day I spent prepping the tubes ready for packing, so they're all labelled accordingly. So as the orders come in, I note them down in my diary, the name of the person, the prints ordered, and the location. But I like to write a thank you note. I think it's the least I can do if someone buys a print off me. I'm very grateful for anyone who's got an interest in my art, especially those who buy prints. It means a lot to me to know that my artwork's hung on your wall somewhere. These are the 2 stickers I like to include. So then what I do is I select a tube with a person's address, then find the person's name in my notes, see what they've ordered, put it down on the tissue paper, add the note, throw in the stickers, roll it up, stick it in a tube, put the cap on and put it to one side. And it's a long, slow process. It takes hours and hours doing this. But it's very satisfying once it's all done. So if any of the people who bought the prints will be looking at this video, but you might spot your name or your order. I've done my best to make sure no one sees your address, don't worry. It's really nice having a large table space to work on to do these things. I often get emails and messages from people asking me why I only open my online store for specific periods of time, and that's because I live in the UK and Spain. When I'm in Spain, I tend to focus more on my client commissions and personal work like paintings and things like that. And when I'm back in the UK, I like to focus on doing the prints. I can't do prints when I'm in Spain, as I have to be in the UK to sign them, pack them and send them off. So it's kind of nice to have that freedom to bounce back and forth from country to country. It keeps me feeling fresh and it stops me getting bogged down in multitasking too many things. I tend to open my store for around 7 to 10 days every 6 to 8 weeks, and it seems to work quite nicely. I'll try and get a few more store openings in this year. I'm opening my store in the middle of this month, so if you're thinking of purchasing prints as Christmas presents and you live in a country distant to the UK, I suggest you pick up your prints in the next store opening for them to stand a good chance of getting to you in good time for Christmas. I'll be opening my store in December, but it's very hard for me to guarantee how long some things take, because once they're posted, they're out of my hands then, and postage can vary considerably to different countries. Happy birthday, Georgie. This was for your 16th birthday, if I remember right, so I hope you like the print, and I had a little message on there for you and drew some dodgy balloons. Wearing my Pantera t-shirt. That album, Vulgar Display of Power, probably changed my life. I was about 13, 14 when I first heard it, and wow, it just blew my mind. I was into Nirvana at the time and I thought they were like the heaviest band ever, but one of my school friends gave me a cassette with about 4 or 5 Pantera songs on it off Vulgar Display of Power, and it literally just blew my mind. There's no other way to describe it. This order is for my mate Dave, who I had the pleasure of meeting at a Comic-Con recently, and lovely guy. So thanks again for your order, Dave. I'll be looking forward to seeing you in the Bolton Movie Con next month. I wish I was using a GoPro here, but if you actually saw what I was doing, you'd probably laugh. I'm holding a mini selfie stick in my mouth with the camera positioned accordingly. Looks ridiculous, but kind of works. Okay, so hours later we got through all those. Now I've got to take everything down to the post office. So what I want to do is categorise all the tubes into their locations to make it easier, because there's nothing worse than rocking up at the post office with 100 plus tubes and them all being out of order, like American orders mixed up with UK orders or Australian orders. So to keep things easier, I decided to write the first letter of the location that the tubes are going. So there's a lot going to America, so a simple A U for the UK. It's pretty obvious really, but this actually helped me loads.
Oh, here we go again. Pandy, can I have my case, please? I need to get inside. Don't attack. Good girl.
That cat is such a little madam. Her name's Panda. She's lovely, really.
Okay, I'm at the Galleries Bristol with 120 tubes to post. So let's go make some post workers' life a misery and call some big queues. This is Martin, who's a legend who's got all the patience in the world when it comes to me bringing these tubes. I think it's like the third time you served, isn't it?
It is, yes. Yeah. Pretty streamlined.
Efficient.
I was very relieved it was Martin who was serving me that day. Thankfully he served me the previous 2 times, so he knows what to expect when I turn up with my box of horrors. When I'm in the post office with that many tubes, I compare it to kind of like hanging off a cliff where you don't want to look down, and in a post office you don't want to look behind you because you can feel the eyes burning into your back. It's been a bit of a mad rush of the day. I'm very tired, having my coffee and ready to get on my plane.
I'll be catching my plane back to Alicante now. Successful day so far. Listening to some early Sepultura to power me through. Got my Starbucks, I'm very happy. I'll end this video with me in Spain, I guess, and we'll see you all very soon. Spain. And that's the end of the video. Now I'm going to get in a taxi, head back to the villa, and I will update you guys soon with a new video. Thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you guys soon.
Apologies for the gum chewing. I decided to start editing this on the plane to make some use of my time. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to comment, like and subscribe to my channel. There's lots more videos coming soon, and keep up to date with me on social media, so if you like what you see, you can order some prints for my next store opening.